protector. I remember one circumstance where my brother, I must have did something to piss him off. That was usually my rule, to anger him. And Otis came to my rescue. And I was like, this man, I can always count on him, regardless of the distance between us. I can always count on him. I have so much more to say, but I'm gonna let someone else talk.
My name is Heather. I'm Yasmin's sister. Otis grew up with us like brother and sister. And I remember Mom. If anybody knows Mom, Otis lived with Mom. And Mom used to like to travel to Miami, so she was in Miami for over a year during Hurricane Hugo. And I remember playing checkers with Otis, and he always won. Always. Couldn't beat him. And I remember his laugh when we would play games. We would play by candlelight because we didn't have any power. And I just remember his laugh, always. His laugh.
Thank God for being here today. As his uncle and aunt, we appreciate it. He was so good and kind and generous, and sometimes he got on my nerves. But then again, sometimes when you have relationships with people, things go wrong. But in any event, I thank God that I have been his aunt for 27 years. And I'm glad to have known him. And he came to live with us in New Jersey for about, I think, 17 months. When he first came into the house, no, I'm sorry, when he called to ask if he could come and stay with us, I said, Otis, you know what you're going to have to do. He said, yeah, Rob, I'm going to have to go to church. I said, mm-hmm. He agreed to that, and I said, at least once a week you have to go. Well, he came on the premise of learning how to drive. He was going to apply to go to college. And he said he needed a job. Well, thank God he got a job in 2 weeks. Within the 2 weeks, at one point, I told him, Otis, maybe like a year late, I said, Otis, you haven't fulfilled your other obligations. You said that you were going to do these 2 other things we need you to do. So I somewhat threatened him about it. And when I did, he took it seriously, because within 3 weeks, he got his driver's license, he applied for college, he got accepted, and unfortunately, we had to bring him here. And I say that because when he left the house, I felt like I was an empty nester. I really did. It just broke my heart to bring him. But I thank God that we were able to bring him to the Robinsons, and we took very good care of him, nurtured him spiritually. They practically raised him again, and he turned out to be a wonderful young man. I told him, Otis, called me one day and said that he had a job, a summertime job, and I said, that's good. So the following year, he said, Rob, I don't have one, I don't know what you do. I said, okay, Otis, I'll give you a suggestion. Go back to the place where you had the job last year. And when he did, he ended up being hired permanently. And he was there for 15 years. And he was obedient, he would listen, he would do all, everything. He was hardworking, he could cook. And I don't know if anybody's ever tasted his cooking, especially that chicken broccoli lasagna. That was good. We would compete, in a sense. I would make my vegetable lasagna, and he would make the broccoli, and it was just tremendous. So we appreciate him, we love him, we still do. And I thank God that we were able to come up here throughout his sickness. And it was tough, making the sacrifice to get here in the beginning. Every 2 weeks was hard, but we thank God that we were able to do that and then to continue it. And when we noticed that things were going on a downhill spiral, I said, Lord, you have to do whatever. It's time for you to work. If you have to take him, take him. Because he has suffered a lot. But the good thing that came out of this was his mother being saved. We really wanted in the beginning, and God answered that prayer, and we're thankful for that.
Praise God.
So since my husband doesn't have anything to say, I have a song.
That's not part of the program. Amen.
But this is a serious song, and whenever I sing this, it's like it does sober me up. Knowing that we have to fast this Black Hole Day. Otis has done that, and the rest of us, it's up to us to do what we need to do to be able to make it in. So pray my strength. In a day that is not far, and the blazing judgment bar, even now the awful morning by and by. Oh, my record, yes, my record will be there. Let me turn and seek the Lord. Let me trust His holy word. Let me bow and call upon Him while He's near. Then when I find record face, He will answer in my place. When I stand before the judgment bar,
Oh God.
oh, my record will be there. These pages dark and fair. When I stand before the judgment bar, when the book shall open wide, in that morning by and by. Oh, my record, yes, my record will be there. Oh, your record will be there. These pages dark or fair. When you stand before the judgment bar, when the book shall open wide, in that morning by and by. Oh, your record, yes, your record will be there.
Oh God. At this time, we'll have a selection from the choir. He whispers sweet peace.
Sometimes when misgivings darken the day and face that I cannot see, I ask my dear Lord to brighten the way. He whispers sweet peace to me. He whispers to me. He whispers sweet peace to me when I am cast down in spirit and soul. He whispers sweet peace to me. I could not go on without him, I know. The world would overwhelm my soul, for I could not see the right way to go when temptations o'er me roll. He whispers to me. He whispers sweet peace to me when I am cast down in spirit and soul. He whispers sweet peace to me. I trust him through faith, by faith hold his hand, and sometimes my faith is weak. And then when I ask him to take command, it seems that I hear him speak. He speaks in a still, small voice, we are told, a voice that dispels all fear. And when I'm in doubt or troubled in soul, that still small voice I can hear. He
This time, we're going to be taking down memory lane. Three of Otis's close comrades. They call themselves the Vikings. I'll have to judge that maybe in a little bit. But this time we're going to have Brother Bruce Kelley Jr., Brother Scott Kelley, and Brother David Glaze. Take us down memory lane about Brother Otis. If you would come at this time.
I moved to Ohio in June of 1994. And Brother Otis, I believe, moved here in 1996. And so I saw him in the congregation, but we didn't really, outside the congregation, we didn't have any real interaction. I think it was Brother Scott here said, you know, you need to get to kind of know him. And as I recall, I think it was Melvin, Scott, Otis, and myself. We were over the Robinson's house. And that's the first time outside of church that I had any interaction with him. And that was the beginning of our relationship. And I guess to say, if you knew Brother Otis, as I said yesterday, he's one of the people that you just couldn't help but like. Years ago, we went to a prison service. We would have church services sometimes there. A particular Sunday, we had two services, and on one side, well, we only had one sister that went, so Nancy that went. And so I think during the first service, her brother sat next to her. And so during the second service, she said that she didn't want to sit by her brother. She was kind of just sit by herself and to see how things played out. And as she was sitting there, she said, Brother Otis came and sat beside her. She said, I like Brother Otis. That's just who I wanted to sit by, because she testified to the saints. I just like Brother Otis. I said, you know what? That's true. How can you not like someone, like Brother Otis? But there was a time when, here at the church, every Sunday, they cook dinner after the morning service, and Sister Calvin is typically the one who cooks. And one day I was talking to a couple sisters, and I said, you know what? I said, we can cook. The we being Scott, Otis, and myself. Now, I didn't have much confidence in my cooking, nor Scott's cooking. But I knew that Otis, I knew what he was doing. So they're like, you all, but I said, yeah, we can do it. So I don't know who I called first, but they both responded similarly. They're like, what? You want to do it? I'm like, come on, we can do it. Otis, and he can, and they're like, well, okay, we'll try it. So the next Saturday, we're down, we meet at the church, and we have our menu together, and we were planning on cooking this meal for Sunday service. And Brother Otis was into quality. He was into, making sure everything was done exactly right. And so, Scott and Otis arrived first. When I arrived, Scott kind of pulled me aside and said, listen, he said, I went to prepare, I washed my hands and so forth. And then Brother Otis came to him and said, but Scott, did you wash your hands? He said, yeah, I did. But Otis said, I didn't see you do it again. So now what do I do? So I made sure Brother Otis knew that I was washing my hands. But he had to make sure that everything from beginning to end was done just right. For the saints. That's just how it was. Now there's this talk about Viking. This has come up a few times, but let me explain what Viking means. You have two, should we say, ends of the spectrum. One end you have a Viking, and the other end you kind of have what I'll call a tenderoni or a mama's boy. So everyone, is described to be, Viking. Now some say they're Vikings and not really qualified, but they, carry that testimony anyhow. And so that was kind of the thing that went on among us. A Viking is one who, is just a tough, rough guy. Just don't take no stuff, just, it's it. And so, I guess really the thing is, when the three of us were together, the key was to somehow retain your Vikingship and tear them down so they become tenderoni. And that's kind of what's. So, this has been on for years, and it probably, still goes on, I guess, to some degree, but at Brother Otis's right before his wedding, as we rehearsal dinner, I made the comment to him, I kind of spoke to the audience there. I was his best man. I said, well, Otis, you know, we've been having this discussion basically about this Viking stuff for years. I said, when it's time for you tomorrow, day of his wedding, to say your vows. I said, when I gave my vows, there was volume. I spoke up. I wanted everyone to know that I'm getting married. I said, now, my Otis is kind of soft-spoken in general. That's kind of his nature. He's just kind of a soft-spoken person. But I said, Otis, I said, tomorrow, when it's time to give your vows, you have some volume behind it. You have some, you know, then you can be a Viking. But if you're all quiet, then you know you're I said, the ball's in your court. The day of his wedding came, so I'm kind of anticipating what's going to happen. I'm heading up here next to him. And again, he's kind of a soft-spoken person. But Brother Otis, he couldn't let that one pass. So the day of his wedding, when it was time for his vows to Victoria, he did it with a lot of volume, so everyone heard, you know, he was committing himself to Victoria. The problem, though, was at his reception. I think it was Sister Nancy Bethel again. She said, now, Brother David, you said that stuff at his rehearsal dinner about him being a Viking. You got to let everybody know he did it right. I was like, okay, all right. So I let everybody know that Brother Otis, he was a Viking. He was a Viking. I'll say one last thing, and I'll stop. There's been so many things said about him and about his faithfulness and how he's just there for me in the time of need. So we're not going to share just one little short story about what happened to him and I. It's probably about 12 years ago. I got injured on my job, and I was off work for a few weeks, and money was kind of tight. And I really hated to bother anyone, but Brother Otis was my best friend. So I went to Brother Otis, said, Otis, I have a situation. I said, could you loan me some